In the last segment, we talked about lifespan and the fact that poorer people live much shorter lives than richer people, that in cities like Baltimore, the difference can be as much as 11 years. In other places, it can, for example, in Virginia, West Virginia, difference can be as much as 20 years, depending on whether you are born wealthy or born poor. Now, let me give you some other statistics for those who think that that we are doing well as a country compared to, let's say, Western Europe. Okay, the United States has a higher poverty rate than in any country in Western Europe. It has higher infant mortality. It has lower voter turnout and thus a less functional democracy. Working people have fewer paid holidays, fewer vacation days, weaker paid medical and family leaves than Western European countries. Now, there are those of us who think that we need a political party to address all of these things, and then there are those, they go by the name centrist Democrats, that's what they call themselves, who think that we should do none of those things. In fact, one of them, Stephen Ratner, wrote an op-ed for the New York Times who's very strongly opposing Medicare for All and some other initiatives and saying what we should propose instead is, quote unquote, better jobs for all with people-centric initiatives like improving education and increasing worker mobility. This is exactly the kind of double talk, nonsense, and meaningless nostrums that Democrats have been peddling for a couple decades now. Meantime, they've lost all branches of the federal government, 2/3 of state houses, and 2/3 of governorships. Now, the old order is crumbling. Recently, in a Gallup poll, 73% of Americans agreed that, were disappointed with the way the country is being governed. 61% agreed with the statement, Republicans and Democrats have done such a poor job representing the American people that a third party is needed. That's nearly twice as many as felt that the two parties were doing a good job for all of us. The old bipartisan consensus is breaking down. That's not a tragedy, it's not an accident, and it's not an injustice. It's not working for the American people. We need a party that will speak to people's real needs, people's real concerns, people's real fears, and people's real hopes. If the Democrats do not do it themselves, they themselves will be relegated to a kind of third-party status in terms of obscurity and meaningless, whether or not another party arises or not. So it is time to either take that party over or look for other solutions.